So welcome back to the Be Nerdy BookTube channel. I'm Sophia, and first and foremost, let me know what you think of this angle. I'm trying to test out new angles to see what's easier to film, where it's easier to film. I'm sorry about the yellow light, but the lighting, like the natural lighting, is crap, so I had to light up my ceiling light. So let me know about that, and welcome to my January wrap up. So I forgot to bring my books here. I'll be right back. Okay, brought the books over to my bed. So we can get this started. So say hi to my very new, very unoccupied um, bedside table. And yeah, so in total, I have 8 books to talk to you about. Six of them I read, 2 of them are DNFs. I do not count DNFs toward my Goodreads goal, so I do not count them as read. I will talk to you about them, and if you want me to read a certain book, let me know down below, like, oh, you should give a try to book X or book Y. And I will maybe compile like a little box with all your suggestions, and I will maybe add like a chance card to my TBR mug kind of thing or something like that. Okay, so let's do it. So I have everything written in my bullet journal. So in January, as I said, I read 6 books. I have 2 DNFs to talk to you about, and not including the DNFs, I read 2,472 pages, distributed over 4 fantasy books, 1 sci-fi, and 1 dystopian. Both DNFs were fantasies, but I am considering them more kind of fabulism kind of things. I will tell you about that. So I don't know if I should just start telling you the books I read or start with the DNFs. I'll start with the books I read. I'll leave the DNFs to the end. So, if you want to give your suggestions, just maybe watch the video till the end. And maybe, just maybe, I mean, while you're here, why not subscribe? Why not ring the bell? If you like bookish content, I have bookish content. If you have any suggestions for me to improve, let me know down below. If you have anything you'd like me to do, just again, leave them down below. I will collect all of your ideas and I will try to do as many as I can. So let's get the party started. And my first read of 2020, and well, I should have finished it in December, but I only started it in January because our live show was on the 5th of January on Sadie's channel. It was The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. I will leave the link to the live show discussion on Sadie's channel. It will be linked down below if you guys want to see our opinions. I'm the Ravenclaw member, even though I'm wearing green today. So, just check us out. Go follow us. It's fun. Join us, maybe. It would be cool. We're just pretty chill group. And actually, getting back to the books, The Guinevere Deception was our pick for December. Our live show was on January 5th, and I gave it 3 stars. Now, The Guinevere Deception is a book where we're following Guinevere, and she has a bit of magic, but magic was not cursed out, but it was drove away from Camelot, and she's going there to marry Arthur. She's his bride. Now, she has one mission, and that is to protect Arthur. And things start happening from there. I don't want to tell too much because I want I want to keep the suspense and I don't want to spoil anything. But this is a high 3 stars. I don't know if it reaches the 3.5, but it's close to 3.5. My thing with The Guinevere Deception was, first of all, I'm not at all familiar with the Camelot myth and the Camelot lore for that. And I think there was just so much useless fluff. And don't get me wrong, I I kind of like useless like fluff. I like Sarah J. Maas, so that tells you everything you need to know. But I just think that maybe there were some things to be avoided. There were some tropes it could have avoided falling into that I would have liked it not to fall into. But yeah, I mean, I still recommend it. I still want to read the sequel because it's the first one in a series called Camelot Rising. I still want to read the sequel. It was just good. It was just enjoyable. Yeah. You know what I mean? Anyway, next up, I have a physical book that I got for Christmas. And I freaking loved it. And it's actually the book that led me out of the compile system. It is Scythe, Scythe by Neil Schusterman. And this is book number 1 in the Scythe series. I actually just got book number 2 for Valentine's. Yeah. Anyway, I read this physically. I gave this 5 stars. If you guys can tell, like, I really like this book. Okay. I was trying to use the compile system until I got to this book, and I started rating it, and it kept giving me a 4 star, but I thought it was a 5 star, and I just don't like going through all of that analysis of characters and plot and enjoyment and everything, because things for me have different weights. Like, my enjoyment weights higher than, I don't know, maybe logic, because that's one of the categories in the compile system. So the fact that they all had the same weight, for me, it didn't work, and I got off the compile system for this book, and actually for Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, because I did read it, and I didn't wrap it up, but yeah. Anyway, we're leaving that in 2019, but we're following Rowan and Citra. They are actually going to be Scythe apprentices, and in a world where death was basically exterminated. You can only die if a scythe killed you. You can't die from old age. You can't die by accident. You can't die by diseases. You can't die by any means other than scythes. And this one gets into really, really neat and gritty, like, it makes you think. It makes you think, like, oh, if I had the situation and if I had to choose this, like, who would I choose and why would I choose it? And what logic would I apply it? And would I be able to avoid getting my feelings in the way? And it's just a very deep book, and I really, really like it. I really can't wait to get into Thunderhead, and I I'm wanting this. I'm wanting more of this. And oh my god, this is just such a great book. If you're looking for a dystopian, but if you think like other dystopians are just way too childish or anything, try this one. This one will make you think, and it will blow your mind in like amazing ways. Just try it, will you? It's just simply freaking awesome. Like, oh, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Please pick this up. Please let me know your thoughts down below. This is so good. This book is just so good. Oh, I forgot to tell you something about Scythe. A lot of people are complaining about the insta love about, like, between two characters, and my 2 cents on that is that it's not insta love. It's actually like a crush develop. Well, we're following both characters over the course of a year. So, and they live in very close quarters for some time of that, and they come from very different circumstances, but they go through the same inner problems, if you know what I mean. So they kind of crush on each other. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's insta lovey. I don't care for that. I think that's romance and it just shouldn't belong. I don't think it's romance. I think there's a friendship going on here. And the fact that they just live in so close quarters in their teens, so there's hormones going around in there. So I think it's just a crush. And I actually like the way it is done. Like, they are not overwhelmed by this crush. It's actually just a crush. It's just that. And I think it's very, very well done. And I really like the way it is like portrayed and the effects of that interaction throughout the book are really, really, really well done. I think it's believable. I mean, it's not like I've had like a similar situation because I haven't been recruited for site training, but I had some insta crushes broke break like this and work like this, so I can see that happening. And I really like that aspect of the book. Actually, it's I need to stop talking about this book, or else my wrap up is gonna be like freaking 30 minutes long, and 20 of them are gonna be about sight. Next up, and a very high rated book on my list again, is Aurora Rising by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Everybody and their mother was saying that this is so Illuminate. This is just so similar to Illuminate. I'm gonna stop you right there. I don't think it is. We're dealing with a group of characters. Yes. We are dealing with characters in space. Yes. The similarities in there. Just there. So this one, I give it a 4.5 stars. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. We are following a group of characters. We're following Aurora. We're following Tyler and Scarlet and a bunch of other characters. And all of them, except Ori, are cadets in Aurora Academy. And one day, Tyler goes out to vent some of his nervousness about the drawing of teams, and he finds like a lost ship, and in it is Aurora. And she has been there for 240 years. So she is now like a 254-year girl in the body of a 16-year-old girl or something. I'm not sure about ages. But things happen, okay? I can't tell you more than this. There are some political developments that make Tyler go on a mission, and yeah, things happen. And so we're following this set of characters in space. And first of all, great representation. We have characters of a lot of races, like alien races and all, but we have a pansexual character, we have a bi character, we have an asexual character, I believe, and I think like, yeah, we have like maybe a non-binary character. I'm not so sure if it is a non-binary character or not, but I can vouch for the others. We have a pansexual character and definitely an asexual character, so we're going with those for sure. The other two, I'm not so sure. But the thing that made me drop this book from 5 stars to 4.5 stars is one of the characters is blatantly not developed. And it's blatantly not developed. I'm not so sure if it is to be developed in future books, because Aurora Burning is coming out this year. I'm not so sure when. But I'm not so sure if that character was just left undeveloped for a ulterior reason, or if it was just done because, whatevs. And it was so blatant compared to other characters. I know there are some other characters that are not as developed, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some more developments of them soon. But I really like it. God, I'm so sleepy. But yeah, that kind of make me draw back. And then there's this little trope that is kind of there, kind of not there, which is the love triangle. So one of the first scenes is Aurora checking out Tyler. So she's like, "Oh, I'm in a room where I don't know where I am, but there's a hot guy, and from what I can see, he's not wearing pants." And I'm like, hell yeah. And I can see that happening with a girl, like, oh my god, like, I don't know where I am, but I don't think that she would look at him enough to, oh my god, he's cute and he has no pants. Like, chill. Keep yourself inside your pants. Just that kind of for me was, yeah, I loved the sassiness, but I hated the way it was done. Next up, we have the freaking finale of a series that I have been putting on my TBRs for I think 3 months, and it is. Can you come here? Thank you. Ruin and Rising by Lee Bardugo. I finally read this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. What can I say? We're following Alina, and basically she is raised as a normal human girl, and then on a traversy through the unsea, which is this kind of black hole type of thing where there are monsters, the ship she's in is attacked, and she discovers this power she was not supposed to have. Like, she was tested for powers, but she never gave a positive like test, so everyone just thought she was just a normal girl. Apparently, she was not. What can I say about this book? It is very slow at the beginning of this. It took me some sweet time to get through this. The beginning is super slow until you start to get to the action, and then you have like a bunch of things that happen for no reason at all, and then you have like from page maybe 250 till the end, it's super fast, like 3 times sim speeds fast. It's just insane, and it has a very Disney-esque ending. I wanted to see something more brutal, something that made me realize that this world is just hard and it's tough, and I wanted something like that, and I didn't get that. Also, something that came to me is that we had so many questions from the previous 2 books that were just left to the air. Like, I don't know. There was a point where one of the questions I had was sort of answered, but then the thing that I thought that would answer the question, it wasn't like that. So I was without answers again, and yeah, so that's all I think. It's a pretty good trilogy. It explains the world pretty well. I really like it. I think you should read it before Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I have not read them. Hopefully I will in the near future. It's on my list. But yeah, I think you should start with this because this introduces you to the world. And if Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom are in the same world, please go with the trilogy. I think you'll do good. This is for you, Sadie. Sadie commented on a video that she really wasn't getting into Six of Crows because there was no world explaining or anything. Start here. Start on the trilogy. It's pretty good and you will get it. I promise you that. Almost at the end, I read The Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan. This is book number 3 in the Heroes of Olympus series. I gave it 4 stars. First of all, the book is 580 pages long. Like, seriously, it's so freaking long. I feel like you could pick up that book and divide it in two, and they would be good length books. Everything together was just so long, and I feel like there were some scenes for the sake of having scenes, like because we're following such a large character group that we need to know where everyone is and what is everyone up to. And then we had like 3 scenes or 2 scenes or 4 scenes that were all happening at the same time because we had to know where all the characters are. I know it's probably going to be important, like some of the things they did, and but I still think it, I don't know, maybe it could have been told through flashbacks or anything, but being told as a, I don't know, space jumping kind of thing between things, it's, I don't think I don't think it should have been done that way. I still liked it. I love the characters. I love the world. We got some great myths. We got the Narcissus myth. We got some looks into some titans. We got some looks into some enemies. It actually got me to go research some of mythological creatures. We got to see some very well-known heroes. It's lovely. It's in my heart. It warms my heart. I just think it was so long, and that we had like 30 scenes that we didn't need, and it was completely useful, like not useful but useless. But yeah. Last book I read, and this one I actually read an audiobook. I read Come Tumbling Down by Sean McGuire. This is book number 5 in the Wayward Children series, and I give it a 3.5 stars. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this book, with this series, not this book, but I do have a love-hate relationship with the series because I love the concept. It's portal fantasy, I think that's what you call it. Basically, we're following a group of characters and they're kids mostly, and they have gone through doors like Narnia and Wonderland and stuff like that, and then they have come back, like, and they're waiting for the doors to reappear again so they can join the world again. Now, in this book, first of all, first and foremost, if you're thinking of reading this, please make sure you have read books 1. Well, you have to, this one is a book where you have to read all the previous books, like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Even though there are some books where you can just skip, this is not one of them. We're following Jack and Jill a bit after the story on the 3rd book. 3rd? Yeah, we're following Jack and Jill a bit after the story of Beneath the Sugar Sky. And so we have a bunch of characters together, and one day, simply, Jack appears in Jill's body. And nobody knows why. And they go help Jack get her body in the right, like, get her soul in the right body. So it's all I can tell you without spoiling. I love Jack and Jill. They are my favorite characters. Their world is my favorite, all of them. But it's, first of all, it's super slow for a book that is 3 hours long. And I felt like I was listening to it like I was listening to Kingdom of Ash, which is 1,000 pages long. So beware of that. And again, I think there are some of the other books, like for example, if you want to read book 2 or even book 4, you can read them without having to read the rest. But for this one, you really need to read book number 1, book number 2, book number 3, and book number nothing. Then it's book number 5, because you don't really need to read book number 4 for this. you could and you should, because the world is great in that one too. But you don't have to read it to read this one. And for something that is said like, oh, it's just a bunch of short stories and everything, it's not. It has a continuity. So be warned with that. Please read the rest of it. You have to read every hearted doorway, which is the first one, and you have to read among the sticks and bones, down among sticks and bones, which is the second one, which is like a prequel. And you have to read book number 3, Beneath the Sugar Sky, or else you will not get what happened to one of the characters, or the intense amount of references there are to that book, because there are a lot of references to that book. But it was just really slow, and as much I like this world, I'm continuing with the series, okay? But I don't know. It's really short. It leaves you wanting for more, but yeah. Going for the 2 DNFs. The 2 DNFs actually had very similar plots, which were books about books. And I DNF'd The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern and The Binding by Bridget Collins. And for The Starless Sea, we're following a guy named Zachary, and he picks up a book at the library that has no author, and he starts reading it, and there's just a bunch of stories, and they seem to make no sense. And then he stumbles upon one of them that is from his childhood, and he knows he did that when he was a kid, and so he starts reading the book to figure out what the hell's going on. Now, I have never liked Erin Morgenstern's writing. I read The Night Circus, I did not like it. This was the Half-Blood Book Club book of the month for the month of January, so I will leave the link for the live show down below. Megan and Sadie loved it. Me and Meg DNF'd it, but maybe it's just I picked it in the wrong format. I was trying an audiobook for it. I don't know. I'm gonna try and get a physical copy of it and try to read it then, because Meg does say it is easier if you are reading it. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. The other one is actually, well, I already told you it's The Binding by Bridget Collins, and it's also a book about a book, and it's about a guy. Don't ask me his name because I don't remember. And he was sick, and he was recruited for like being an apprentice to the binder, and the story just goes from there. Okay, the book is so slow. I was reading articles and listening to the book, and like I was away for 30 minutes, and I would have not missed anything because the scenes are just so long. Again, I think it's a book I will enjoy more as an ebook or a book, like something that I can read with my eyes. So if you have like any special things you want me to try, like, oh, you should really read The Starless Sea, or oh, you should really read The Binding, let me know down below what you think about them. And yeah, so this is my January wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.